Hey gals and guys, it's your host Phil Larson, and this is your Motivational High Five on longevity. Let's do this. Today's guest voice comes to you from Jason Wrobel. And as I'm, doing this show, it's a pretty new show. I'm getting emails from different people, and one of them was Jason. He says he really loved the show. Jason is this renowned chef. He's a TV show host, and his show, How to Live to 100, is the first primetime vegan cooking series in TV history. He's gained such celebrity fans as like Woody Harrelson and Sigourney Weaver and Steve Buscemi. He's won numerous awards, and he's about to release his very first book, April 5th. 2016, in case you're listening to this episode in the future. You can check out the show's notes on this episode and get to that link to his book. It's called Eternity, E-A-T, get it? Eternity, which contains 150 delicious vegan recipes. And if it's going to be anyone who speaks on longevity, it's going to be the guy who has a TV show called How to Live to 100. Jason Wrobel, starts with a W, Wrobel, is here to share with you.
In my teens and 20s growing up in Detroit, my neighbor Ann Curry was always my favorite neighbor. And not just because she was sweet and had a really friendly grandmotherly disposition, but she was also the oldest and one of the wisest people I knew. So Ann Curry lived next door and lived to be the ripe old age of 97 years old. And it's rare to meet someone who's closing in on 100, let alone someone that in their late 90s is as spry and full of life and energy as many people you meet in their 60s and 70s. So for years I would observe Anne, even as she grew older, shoveling her own snow and taking care of her own lawn, planting gardens, taking trips to Vancouver and Los Angeles to visit her family members. And after years of observing this extraordinary behavior in this woman, I thought, wow, there's 60 years plus separating us. I need to know what this woman's secret is. So one day I finally made my way into Mrs. Curry's house for the very first time. And it was as tidy and well organized and well kept as I would expect it to be given her personality. So we sat down for some tea and snacks, and I just flat out asked her, Anne, what is the secret to you not just living so long, but still doing so much in your life? I need to know. There's 60 years between us. You got to let me know what your secret is. And Anne paused, and she said, just don't stop doing things you enjoy. I said, that's it? She said, that's it. So this woman who had lived through so much in her life still had this attitude of, I'm going to do whatever I want, and what I'm going to do is going to bring me joy, whether that's shoveling the snow, going to bingo, taking walks around the block, going on family trips. She did not stop doing things. And it taught me a lot about longevity, in that this woman was obviously raised in Canada, eating a lot of natural foods, which is something that I'm sure contributed to her longevity, but really it was her attitude toward life that I think helped her live to almost 100 years old, that she never gave up. She never complained. She was never negative as far as I could tell. And she just kept going. She was like the Energizer Bunny. When I think of Ann Curry, I think of, without the drum kit, an Energizer Bunny going around her yard, planting beautiful flowers, taking these long family trips to exotic locations, and just spreading joy, whether she was coming and delivering a batch of cookies, engaging in witty conversation. This woman radiated youthfulness and positivity and joy. And it taught me something. That age is only a number. This woman didn't feel like she was 97 years old. She didn't exude the attitude what one might expect of a 97-year-old. She had a youthful, vibrant, childlike energy, full of wonder and life and humility, and it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about how I want to be the rest of my life. And that attitude is maybe the most important thing when it comes to living a long life. Even more than nutrition, more than one chooses to live in a certain place, that just staying positive and staying joyful and staying appreciative of life might just be the key to living a long time.
Do you find yourself getting wrapped up in the worries and the stresses and the things that you have to do of life When it boils down to it, and you are at the end of your life, was that worth it? As Anne has taught Jason, and now as Jason has taught us, don't stop doing things you enjoy. When we forget that, when we lose that sight, we lose sight of who we are. If you're new to the show, and I know that you might be, Jason has a lot of supportive followers and fans. But what we do at the end is something a little different. We invite positive storytelling in our lives as a way to take an active role on our mental health, as a way to combat the negative narratives and wirings that have been hammered into us all of our lives. And the way we do that is we find a reflection of ourselves, and we speak life and we speak positive things into ourselves with a mantra that I give to you at the end of every episode. And today's is this: I can have a long and fulfilled life by prioritizing the things I enjoy. It boils down to whether or not you believe that to be true about yourself, whether or not you believe your life is worth even enjoying. And if it's hard, then I know things have been hard. Things have hammered in this negative narrative, this negative view of your life. But you are here and you are back and you are taking an active role on your mental health. And that is the step in the right direction, even if you still have a hard time believing that you even deserve such things. But good job on listening to this, because ultimately it starts with you.